Hello, Senator Winner here. How are we doing? Well, yeah, by the video and the headline and the picture, you can see, and the reason you haven't seen me for 9 weeks and 4 days, 9 weeks and 4 days, is because I had a stroke. I had a subarachnoid hemorrhage, subarachnoid brain hemorrhage, and that is AKA a stroke. I was in the hospital for total of 9 days. I was in ICU for 3 of those days. The phone might be a bit wobbly here. I've got it on this new stand. I'm trying something new out, but it's a wobbly one until we get on the freeway. I might be able to touch it then to stop it wobbling. But we've started, so we'll finish. It is what it is. I'm gonna get into what happened with the stroke. I'm gonna get into what happened with the stroke, what happened during the hospital stay, what happened after. We're going to have a nice chat because I'm going to be in the car for a while, and I want to dedicate this video to two YouTubers. First one is Challenge Jackson. I'll put his channel in the description. He's got a great channel. If you're looking to save money, be frugal, look after yourself, self-help wise and things like that, he's got a really kind of I told him his channel should be called Challenge Jackson. Action Jackson instead of Challenge Jackson, because he's a man of action, and yeah, he's a man of action. He tells you how to take action on that channel. Is this guy gonna walk or what? I'm walking here. I'm walking. Well, I'm talking. So and then the other one is Challenge Jackson. He recommended this guy called Sam Sulek, because he does kind of what I do, which is long form talking. But I always get a bit self-conscious of that, because I'm like, maybe I should be putting like edits into my videos and making them all snazzy and snappy and jazzy. And incidentally, have you ever seen real jazz hands? Here they are. Oh, no hands. Don't do that when you're driving. So yeah. Can you imagine another motorist coming the other way? You're like, jazz hands! Boom. So as you can see, I'm doing a lot better. I'm doing a lot better for someone that's had a stroke, and it was a hell of a stroke, as we're going to get into. But yeah, Sam Sulek, big shout out. I like your stuff. I've watched it. If you want to get massive, or you want to know about nutrition, check that guy's channel out. He goes into detail, and he's a good little talker, and he's nice to listen to. He's got some, and he's quite funny as well. So fair play. So, what happened? What happened? Well, oh wow, look at that bit of grey there. Oh, natural. Oh, I've had my hair cut. So since you last saw me, yeah, I had my hair cut. I was in the hospital that long, and I hadn't washed it and that. I was just like, right, we need it was like an anti coming to Jesus moment, because I did look a bit like Jesus with the long hair. But we had an anti coming to Jesus moment where I just chopped it all off. Incidentally, I actually just did it myself with a beard trimmer. Not one time did I use scissors on this. Beard trimmer, hand. You can even see there, the hairs on my hand has been taken off, because all I do is like, that's my, and I just let it just do what I need to do, and it kind of goes to that choppy right length. So highly recommend that. That's a frugal money saver. How much money am I saving on hairdressers, Challenge Jackson? Tell me, baby. I know you know. You probably don't. Do you pay for haircuts, Challenge Jackson? There's a question for you. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to be in the car for probably an hour. I don't know how long I'm going to talk, but I wish this thing would stop wobbling. It's doing my head in. But what happened? Well, as you know, I was doing the anti-caffeine thing, no caffeine, and I was smashing it, over a gallon of water a day. I'd just had my blood work done in September. I'd done a full blood panel, and I had like everything from STDs to your testosterone levels to HGH. On the freeway, and I was flying. Incidentally, I don't know if I'm a descendant of Lucifer, but my testosterone levels was 666 on that day that they got taken. It can be different during different parts of the day and depending on what you're doing with yourself. But not bad for 42. Just turned 42, baby. Still punching. Au natural. So there you go. So what happened? Let's get into it. What happened with the stroke? Let's get into it. I had a subarachnoid hemorrhage. I had a stroke. What happened? I was taking an ice bath. There you go. I was taking an ice bath. I'd been out for a run. It's like, what can I say here? Because I don't want to scare people about ice baths and things, but this is just what happened to me. This is just what happened to me. I was in phenomenal shape. I train every day, cardiovascular wise. I think 5 days before, I'd just done an 8-mile run, 4 miles uphill, 1,500-meter elevation. Like I said, I was flying. Go to the gym every day, eat well. Like I said, I was off the caffeine. No alcohol, no drugs of any kind. And I took this ice bath after a 5K run. And long story short, went into meltdown. Went into meltdown like this friggin' phone holder is doing. Can I get a different kind of phone holder? Maybe on another video. I've started, so I've finished, like I said. So I'm thinking about deleting this video right now. What do I do? What do I do with this video, with this phone that's doing my head in? I'm thinking about it. Let's continue. So, yeah, I went into a bit of a meltdown. And at first I thought, I came out of the ice bath, did the ice bath for 3.5 minutes. I'd just gone on a nice 5K run. And I was with a group of friends. I was out with this running club. And it was really interesting, people's reactions to my actions, what I was having. That was the first thing. This lad that I knew from my 12-step community, I told him, I said, mate, I don't feel right. I came out of the ice bath after about 20 seconds. And I remember I must have looked good coming out of that ice bath because there was a lass in her 20s. She was talking, oh, wow, you look really cold. Or she started engaging with me. I was thinking, aye, papai. We've got some interest here, I thought. So I was feeling good about myself when I first got out. And then I literally turned around, and it had been maybe 20 seconds after I'd been out of the ice bath. And I said to this lad I met, who I knew, who was my mate there, who invited me to the running club, I was like, oh, mate, I don't feel right. And I was like, I'm going to lay down. And what was interesting was his reaction to me wanting to lay down or not feeling right. He was like, don't do that, bro. It's going to look crazy. It's going to look crazy. He was all self-conscious. He was all insecure about how, interesting, right? I told him I was in pain or I didn't feel great and I needed to lie down. And the first thing he thought was like, oh, people are going to think it looks silly. Like, we do this, right? We're so worried about what other people will think. Fear. And I was like, nah, bro, I need to fucking lay down. I'm not in a good way. So I laid down and I just, oh man, felt terrible. And I was like, what's going on here? And he was like, he was worried. He told me afterwards that he thought I was having a panic attack or something because he'd had them before in the past. So he was self-conscious maybe that was going to happen and it would have embarrassed him, I guess. I don't know. Or maybe he would have been embarrassed for me. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking. And I don't really care, actually. I don't talk to this guy anymore, but that's a separate story. Wish him the best, all the best, but there's a few other red flags. And just like with, if you're dating someone, if you're friends with someone, you see these red flags, you go, okay, wish you the best, but not for me. So anyway, I said to him, I said, I saw the owner, this guy, and I don't want to go into too much details really. It's a funny one, man. This guy always says a prayer before we go out and run. And it was these moments afterwards were like real biblical stuff to me. This guy always says a prayer before we go out and run. And so I asked this guy, I thought he's a good dude. I'll ask him for help. And I was like, said his name. I says, can you help me? I said, I don't feel good. And I knew at that point, I was like, here's the interesting thing. I was like, I'm going to shit myself right now, or I'm going to throw up. I've got no idea which one. And my head's killing me. My neck in particular was killing me. But I was like, I've got to get to the toilet. So I asked him where the toilet was, and his face, he saw me, he probably saw how white I was and in pain and how not normal like I looked. And he looked scared. Like that. He looked like he was like, and he carried me to the toilet, and I was like, "You're gonna have to leave because I need some privacy." I actually told him, "I think I'm gonna shit myself, mate. You need to go." That's what I actually said. So, in the nicest way I could, under the pain I had, like I didn't say it like nasty. I just said it like I was like worried, but that probably made him more worried. So my mate came in. Then he comes through the toilet, and at that point, I've got my head in the toilet and I'm being sick. Again, first thing he says, he's like, "Bro, get your head out of the toilet, man. What do you? I wouldn't have my head in that toilet." And I'm like looking up. It was that way. I'm looking up, and I'm like, "Mate, do you think I want to have my head in the toilet? I'm not good. I'm not in a good way." And I was off. I was all discombobulated as well. I was just like, "What is going on?" Just really discombobulated. What a word that is, by the way. Discombobulated. I was discombobulated. I feel like I need to be an Indian person to say that. Sounds better. I was discombobulated. And that's what they do, right? I had a friend from India, that's what he does. Oh, it's discombobulated. I mean, he might not have said that word, but he definitely did that with his head. It's like a mannerism Indian people have, right? Humans, we have these mannerisms, don't we? There you go. There's a mannerism. It's Indian. And if you say discombobulated, it's even better. Every time in the future I'm ever going to say the word discombobulated, it will be like that. So I'll probably not say it too much. But yeah, I was feeling that way. And I came out and I was like, gotta get out of here, or something's not right, or I need help. Like just, wanting to have safety. And I was surprised I came out and that guy wasn't there anymore. He was off talking to people, and people knew I wasn't well because it's like I'd been laying down, I'd gone to the toilet, people talk, obviously. And my mate was kind of wanting to get out. He was a bit embarrassed by it all, and he's just trying to like, let's go get something to eat. Let's go to Equinox and get a sauna. Or he's just trying to like man up, man. Come on, you got man fuck up. So I was walking out, and I heard a lady there who was like the owner or running the whole thing. She was like, "I hope your friend's okay," to my friend, which was strange because she knew me. She'd said hello to me. She's friends with me on Instagram. She didn't want to ask if I was okay. She'd just rather say like, "I hope your friend's okay." It was biblical, man. It was like, it reminded me of like, we can all pray, right? Because they pray before and after the run at this place, and they have they're very nice. They give out things, and they're organizing this stuff. But it brought me to that like moment of what it means to really like carry the message of the higher power, God's message. And it reminded me of the story with the disciples, when the disciples are arguing amongst themselves, who's the best disciple. And Jesus comes to them. And whether you believe in this stuff or not, it's a great story. I feel like Jesus comes to them, and it's a great message. And he says, let me show you who the best with, like what they'll do the best. Let me show you what the best does. And he proceeds to wash Simon Peter's feet. And Simon Peter is all like uncomfortable about it, like, "Whoa, you're the Messiah, you can't be washing my feet." And he's like, "This is what you will do. You will wash someone's feet. This is what the greatest among you do." It's to serve, right? With no ego. And when I told that guy I was going to shit myself, he was out, man. He was like, that was the metaphor for like, bro, I need some help right now. I need you to wash my feet. I need some help. My other friend, like, I need like that metaphor of like, I need someone to wash my feet. Like, it was a good Samaritan story. I was struggling, man, and nobody really wanted to deal with it. It's like, I hope your friend's okay. Like, I hope you are. Like, but I want to pray, but I just don't want to do the footwork. I want to pray, but I don't want to do the footwork. Oh, there's another message. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Isn't that the truth for all of us sometimes in life? We'll pray, but we don't want to do the footwork. I get it. Sinner to winner, I get it. Pray, but we don't want to do the footwork. That's why it's important to watch channels like Challenge Jackson, which should be Action Jackson. Yeehaw. So I got out of there, and my mate came with me, and I was like, mate, you're going to have to leave, because all he wanted to do was go for something to eat, knock it off. He didn't believe me. He thought I was faking it or something. I don't know what was going on. This is what he told me afterwards as well. He just thought I was having a panic attack. I was like, just do me a favor, mate. You can leave. I'm just going to sit here in my car and just try and like meditate, do something. I'll be all right. And I put the heater on in my car, put the heated seats on, and I was like, is this gonna go? I was like, can I sleep it off? It reminded me a bit like if you've ever had like a appendicitis, because you can't quite put your finger on it. You think it's something else, you're not sure. But there's a bigger problem there, you're like, there's something not right. Like, I remember saying that in the place and saying that I was like, there's something not right. There's something not right. And let me get across here. And then I was like, all right, let me see. I don't know why I got this in my head. I was like, I need to go home. I need to get home to my bed. I just need to it was like animal instincts. I need to get home. So I start the car and I drove like 50 meters up the road, and I had to, like, just the movement of the car. I opened the door. I was like vomiting, paralytic vomiting. And yeah, painful. And then I stopped the car, and I was like at a red light, and there was cars behind me, and I'm like, this is crazy, and I'm throwing up, and I'm like, what must they be thinking of me right now? Again, worried about what other people are thinking. And I was like, looked up, and I was like, got the cross street. I was like, get across the road and park up, and call the police, call the ambulance, whatever, 911. It's time. I knew then that I was running on fumes. So I get across the intersection, the cross street, pull up, and I remember I put it on my chest, and I laid back in here in the car, and I was just 911. And guess what? It was on hold. I remember it was on hold. They were like, your area is busy or whatever, and I was like, wow, you can be on hold for 911. This is crazy. The moment at the first time, like one of the only times in my life that I've called this 911 number, and I like wanna, and I'm like, it's busy. Come on, man. But eventually it went through, and a woman answered, told her the cross street, told her I was just in a bad way. Like, I said, I've just had an ice bath, and I've gone in. I'm just in a bad way. I don't know what's going on. I'm being sick. I'm needing to, it's coming out of both ends. I'm just like, something's wrong. So next thing I can hear, like, I just closed my eyes, and the light, I remember the light, any kind of light at this point, then it just all hit me. As soon as I could hear the fire engine, it was a fire engine in the ambulance or whatever, it's like it all hit me, and my body was like, okay, you're going to be safe now we can really feel the pain. And at that point I was like half conscious, and I remember any light, I got my hoodie, I wrapped it around my head. Any kind of light in my eyes was just like a knife in my skull, like my skull. And I was just like, oh. And I remember this voice came, they'd open my door. Hey buddy, what's up? You okay? You been drinking tonight? You been doing some drugs? And I was like, no, I don't drink, I don't drug. I said, I was like, I'm saying this, like, barely saying this. And I was like, something's not right. My head's killing me. I've just been sick. I'm like everything I've just told you. And they were like, you got your driver's license on you? So I remember the wallet. I just gave them the wallet. I was like, kind of I could not have any light in my eyes. Nothing. Nada. The pain, sensory overload. Sensory overload. It's like someone playing with your eyeballs. And they got my medical card. They got me driver's license. Then they put me on the gurney or whatever it is. And I remember he was like, "Gonna move your car, bud. We're gonna move it into the Ralph's car park." And they put it in the car park there. Thank God he did that, or else I'd have been getting a big fine, a big towing thing. And gave me the keys in my hand or in my whatever it was. Man, I remember being on that, the trolley thing, and just it was like I'd become, like you walk around and you don't feel the bones in your body. You don't feel the bones in your body. It was like, because you've got a good suspension in your body, it's all fluid and loose, and your central nervous system, you don't really. I could feel everything. It was like I'd been downgraded, and I had like zero suspension in my body. So I was on that thing. I could feel my spine. Oh God, everything was so painful. And I remember laying in that ambulance on the way there to the hospital. Oh, spitting on myself. I remember laying there and just thinking, it's not possible. I don't think it'd be possible for me to feel more pain than I'm feeling right now. I remember being like, this is what it must feel like when you've been shot. Because there's a point where it's too much information. Your body can't take all the pain. It's too much. There's too much going on. Head, neck, eyes, your spine, your central nervous system, and everything. It was too much. I just couldn't. It was like, and I remember I'd been meditating a lot. I'd had a really good meditation practice at the time, and I just remember just in that ambulance. My eyes obviously closed. Everything's black, and I sensed the people sitting at the side of me, and I just remember concentrating on my breath because that was the only thing. I was like, man, I'm so powerless. I remember this feeling. I was like, I am so powerless right now. And the only thing I've got power over is my breath. So I was just concentrating on that. Um, and incidentally, I haven't I think I might have meditated once. It's not been something I've done since I've got out. That's a different story as well. The balance of my life, what's been going on since I've got out. That's interesting as well. But we get to the first hospital. I say the first hospital because we go to a different hospital when they find out what's wrong with me. At the first hospital, I was sat. And by the way, I am in some serious traffic now, which is good. I don't have to hold the phone. At the first hospital, they wheel me there. I'm in Delray, Cedars Sinai Delray, and Marina Del Rey, and I was outside in a wheelchair. They'd left me there while she's doing all the insurance stuff for my medication and for my medical. And I remember just being like sick, like waiting for this. She's asking me questions I could buy because I've got the thing over my head, and I'm discombobulated, and I was like, oh, I remember that vein in the neck here. I just remember thinking it's gonna blow. I remember seriously thinking my neck is going to blow. My head, my neck, everything. I just remember going, and then like the kids stood behind me, like giving me more bag or whatever, and her just she vanished at that point. Like she could see how much pain I was in. I was like, please give me something for this pain, like please. At that point, I started at, or when I thought it's very hard to remember. I was like in and out of consciousness at this point, and they've IV'd me up. And the next thing, I'm like getting the morphine, and it's like lights out. And I'm hearing these whispers of like, I've got something wrong with my heart. They're talking about it's missing a beat. It's very slow. And I remember saying, I've been for testing in the hospital. I've got a great heart. I remember the doctor even said to me when I'd gone in the hospital the doctors in September, he'd listened to my heart, and he was like, "Are you an athlete?" And I'm like, "Well, yes, I'm a fucking athlete." No, I didn't say that. I said, I said, "No, I'm not, but I do train a lot." He goes, yeah, you can tell you've got this really strong heartbeat. It's like, thump, thump, thump. I was like, oh, that's mint. You know what I mean? That's pretty cool. Like having a doctor say that to you at the time. And so they're worried about my heartbeat. So I remember saying like, I was saying that, and next thing I'm in another room. I'm on like ICU ward in Delray. They've given me stuff. They're giving me, I don't know, morphine dilaudid. I had all of it. Morphine dilaudid, fentanyl. I had all of it when I was there in the ICUs. So what they were giving me, a cocktail of all those things in my paperwork. I've got 112 pages of paperwork of all this stuff that happened to me while I was there on this journey. And then the surgeon came, the heart surgeon, because they said they were thinking that they needed to do, possibly would need to do, fit me with a pacemaker. They were going to fit me with a pacemaker. So I'm hearing all this, and at the time, I remember what do I remember? I remember saying to the kid who was coming to me and saying he was asking for a next to king. I gave them my work number because I knew work would be 24 hours because now we're in the middle of the morning or whatever, and I knew someone would be there on shift and they would be able to inform everybody that needed to know. And then I was like telling this kid, I was like, just make sure my daughter knows that I love her. I was like, please, just, that's all I care about. Like, make sure, because I was worried. He was like, just to be clear, like, we need to make sure, if you're not able to make decisions, we need to know people that can make decisions. It was, it's a very worrying stage when they don't know what's going on. You've got heart problems, or you've got what we turned out after we did a CAT scan. We did 2 CAT scans. They did a CAT scan because of obviously all the symptoms I had, and they found blood in the first CAT scan. They found blood in the head. Blood in the head! Incidentally, that's a game I play with my daughter. I lift her upside down and I say, blood in the head! Well, daddy had some blood in the head. It wasn't bloody good, I tell you. And so yeah. So what they needed to know then, they're like, is it fresh blood or old blood? This is what they told me. So then they put some dye, they put something into the IV to make sure that, so they can see the color of the blood. Anyway, I remember they took me in for a second time. By the way, they're waking me up all the time. They're taking pictures of my eyes, and I hate light in my eyes. I've just told you that, but I'm on the painkillers. I'm dealing with it. They're taking the picture of the pupil. So what a journey. Yeah, that was for a couple of days that they didn't want me to sleep, just in case, because what they found out is I had something called a subarachnoid hemorrhage. And so then they wanted me to go to Cedars-Sinai Beverly Hills because of the team there and the neurology department there is better, or they have a neurology department. I don't know if they had one in Delray, but anyway, I go then in another ambulance because they're like very worried, because apparently you can have another bleed. It could be a aneurysm. There's all kinds of things that can go wrong. So then I got taken to Cedars-Sinai Beverly Hills. It was a big team, big operation. When I got there, so many people stood around my bed, making notes, asking questions. I'm barely answering them again. I'm in and out of consciousness. That's where I had my own nurse, and she's like every hour taking pictures, like opening my eyeball out, boom, boom, with this like light thing, not sleeping, then asking me my pain levels as she's filling the IV with the fentanyl. And I honestly got to tell you, like, that's what they call a free lapse in my industry, right? Where you're sober, or you're sober from certain, alcohol, weed, drugs, whatever your choice is. They were never my drugs of choice anyway, but they didn't do anything. Hand on my heart, they didn't do anything to me. Wow, people are getting out of the cars here now. They didn't do anything to me where I was like, I'm high. There was no conscious thing like, oh, I feel good, I'm high, I want some more. It was just like, oh, I don't have pain. And I was kind of like a little upbeat. And I remember thinking, am I going to be okay? Or is this, you know what I mean? Like now I'm going to be okay after a few days. Or so at that point, I'd big shout out in this story to the Good Samaritans, the ambulance drivers, the the fire engine drivers, police officers, um, hospital staff, nurses, doctors, surgeons. You know, we're going to get a song in. We're going to get a song in. It's took 30 minutes of this. But here we go. You ready for a song time? When I needed a neighbor, were you there? Were you there? When I needed a neighbor, were you there? And the creed and the color and the name won't matter, were you there? Were you there? When I needed a... You get the idea. Well, they were. We talked about how it was biblical before. I had Pontius Pilate over in the running club. You know, I am trying to help you, man. You know, but I don't really want to get it too involved. I don't want to help you. You know, if you're going to have to be sick and you're going to be pooping, then I'm out. But if you want to say a little prayer, I'll pray for you, boy. And then, you know, the people who just want to say, hope it goes well. But like I said, there's nothing like prayer and those action steps afterwards, right? We're speaking about that in today's meeting. I do a meeting with my friends, and every Sunday with these guys that are like me, fathers and careers and things, chasing after dreams and living their best lives, trying to do the right thing. And we were saying how important it is for to take action. You've got to get after it. You've got to do these things, you know. Um, and I think where prayer comes in is like the acceptance of things too. Like, if really, mate, you're gonna do that, okay, sorry, got to accept that, mother. Got to accept that good person in front of me, that human being that is a sinner, that is not perfect, that just cut me off in traffic to try and gain an inch and take away some from me. Um, but there's a lesson, you know. What do I have control over? Only so much, right? I've got to be accepting. So I could take all the right actions, but the prayer helps also with the acceptance of the outcome. Not just, hey, can I have this outcome? But hey, can you help me accept it? Can you help me have compassion, empathy for myself, for others, and accept what's going on? And the results. Stay out of the results, baby. So, yeah, we were talking about that. Anyway, I'm at the hospital. I'm in ICU. Lot going on. By this time, my phone a friend, another good Samaritan, a good friend of mine. Give you the first name, Liz. Wow, my angel, my little angel in Rocky. They've got that story where Rocky says, you know, you feel like you're going down, and a little angel whispers in your ear, "Get up, you son of a bitch, because Mickey loves you." You know, Liz was my little angel, because it was when I got on those drugs or medication that was saving my life and helping me. They told me that and their words were that the doctor, one of the doctors came in and said, "Listen, we've decided we're not going to cut your head open. We're not going to do anything invasive like that to see what's going on right now with if there's a possible aneurysm or we need to fix the bleed there. What we can do is this thing called a cerebral angiogram." And I'm listening to this, and all these words and all these things mean nothing to me at the time. I'm just scared now because I'm more aware. I'm in less pain. If they'd have asked me that first 24 hours when I was in all the pain and not on much medication, hey, we need to cut your head open, that's going to be the solution, I swear to God, I swear on my life, I'd have been like, cut it open. Cut it. Let's do it. Let's go. But now I was coming round. I was on the medication. I was like, honestly, I was like, I want to get out of here. And especially when they start talking about what we're gonna do this thing called a cerebral angiogram, and we're gonna go in through your groin. Oh, really? Yeah, we're gonna go in through your groin. We're gonna go in through one of your major veins, and we're gonna go up with this thin apparatus, this thin wire. And we're gonna go all the way back to your to your neck, head, and then we're gonna be able to look at all the arteries that are going into your head, and we'll find out if there's an aneurysm or if there's bleeding, and we can actually stop it there. I don't know what they do, but they can seal it up and find out what's going on. And as he's saying this, he's also telling me that you're going to have to sign all these forms. There's a chance of another stroke. There's a chance of death. There's a chance. And he's telling me all this. I was like, wow, you know what? I'm going to have to phone my dad at this point, my family. I was like, I'm going to have to phone my family. I was coming around. I want to let them know what's going on. And I also, this is the time when I first really felt fear. I felt like I was getting back in control. So that acceptance of like, oh, I'm absolutely effed here. That had gone a little bit, and I was like, I want to get out of here now. And I called my dad up, and I remember I was like, Dad, it's Jazz. Listen, don't worry. Something along the lines of, don't worry. I'm in the hospital. I've had something. I've had a brain bleed basically, and but I'm all right. He took that as well as he probably could, and then I remember I just said, listen, I got to tell you something. They want to do this thing to me, what I just told you, but I said I'm scared. I don't want to do it. I was scared. I didn't want him to put me to sleep again. He said we're gonna have to put you to sleep. I say again, but just to be that helpless again. I was like, oh. And I tell you what, it's a good job I'm recording this video because I am in terrible traffic. Terrible. Wow. There you go. Thank you. All worked out. So I'm like, Dad, I'm scared. I don't want to do it. And I didn't want to do it. I was like, I asked the doctor how long have I got to decide to make this decision. Which is silly when you think about it, but when you're there and you're just like, nah. And spoke to my dad a bit, and he said, you know, it's your choice. You got to do what you think's right. And I, that's when Liz came, and you know, Liz was the perfect friend to have. You know, her sons, believe it or not, had both had brain injuries, one through a surfing accident and one through a car accident. She's also got experience in this field and dealing with these kind of same issues. And she was amazing. She did all the research for me. She told me who the neurosurgeon was, the neurologist, and told me about how good Cedar Sinai Beverly Hills was. And she gave me the literature on the, you know, everything, and just calm me down. So you're gonna do it. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna do it. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna know. We're gonna put this to rest. And we did. We did it. I woke up that morning. They took me down. They wheeled me down. Liz was there again. She was such a shining star for me in this. Wow, what a great friend. What a phone a friend. You know, when they say phone a friend, that was my phone a friend. They writ a name on the hospital board and the number of her. And yeah, when I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, except for she's called Liz, and we let it be. You got two songs out of me. Two songs. There you go. Yeah, there you go. So it all worked out. Found out that there was no big issue. Everything was clean. The arteries were clean. There was no aneurysm. It was just this freak incident. We don't know where the blood came from. So I stayed in the hospital then. There's so much I can talk about with this story. And I thought to myself today I was going to do 45 minutes. Maybe we'll stick it to 45 minutes. And if you want to hear part two, you can put in the comments, I want to hear part two. And I'll do a part two from more stuff that happened in the hospital. Maybe I'll just do it anyway. Who knows? But please like, share, subscribe. You know, all that YouTube stuff. It helps. Apparently, the algorithms helps my channel. Hopefully, I can help others with this story. Maybe someone's listening to this and they're in hospital and they've just had a fucking stroke or a subarachnoid hemorrhage and they want to know how to get through it and what's gone on. I know I was listening to a lot of stuff when I was in hospital coming round, and you know, because you can't move after a stroke. I was so lucky. The only thing that really went from me is a 30% hearing in this ear, and I obviously couldn't really move. I was so stiff. I had this spasticity. I was so stiff in my lower body and my buttocks, especially my buttocks. You could like, the only way I can describe it is if someone went into your butt cheek. They went into your butt cheek and they squeezed your muscle as hard as they could, and there was no way of getting around it. There was no, you like, oh, and both butt cheeks. And there's other people I can talk about that came and visited me in the hospital and helped me when I got out of the hospital, but I think I'm going to need another video for that. I'm going to need another video for that. Thinking about it, there's just too much to talk about, too many thank yous to give out. You can't just, you know, you've got to respect the story as I'm thinking about it now and speaking about it. and I don't want to take away from the quality because I'm not willing to give the quantity, and I am willing to give the quantity, but we'll just keep it where it is today, which is we'll do 45 minutes. So we've got another 5 minutes. So what can I talk about? Well, yeah, I was on that ICU ward. Thank goodness for all the good Samaritans there. The nurse that was looking after me, the nurses that were looking after me, shift changing and making me feel safe and cared for. And I remember Saeed came as well. This lad called Saeed, who was a friend of Liz's, shall we say? And I didn't really know Saeed. Amazing lad. And he came in, and I was a little bit like, "Wow, this person's coming to see me. He don't even really know me. What have we got in common?" And straight, he came up to me, and he obviously I was in a bad way. I could hardly move and that. And he just kissed my forehead, and I was like, "Wow, this guy's a cool guy." You know, you know what I mean? Pardon me. I just remember thinking, like, this guy's a cool guy, man. I'm here feeling all self-conscious. Again, we spoke about, worrying about what other people think. And he just put me at ease. He's like, brother, you know what I mean? Without even saying anything, he just held me and gave me a kiss on my head. And I was like, that's nice. If he'd have asked me if he could have done that, I'd have probably said no. Weirdly enough, after he'd done it, I was like, wow, I needed that. There's another little thing, another message. Sometimes we don't even know what we need or we want, you know? Be open-minded. Wow! Be open-minded. And, yeah, there's so much I could say, but like I said, we're going to do it for another day. We're going to do it for another day, but I'm here, I'm well. It's been one heck of a journey. But I wanted to get a video in to talk about the fact that I'd had a stroke, and this is where I've been. Probably some people are worrying, like, or wondering, like, what's going on. Well, this is what's been going on. And it, like I said, it's been 9 weeks, 4 days. I'm getting better and better every day. The hearings come back, and I want to talk. I want to do a video. I'm just thinking about it now. I can do a video where I talk specifically about being in hospital for that long, all the things that are going on, all the things you can worry about. So probably the next video, regardless, is going to be of that. So there'll be a little link probably to click to that by tomorrow or the next day when I do that video. You know, because there's so much I can talk about my experiences and what went on, and these mini little goals and things you have when you're on opioids and you're coming off opioids, and when you're dealing with, you've had a stroke and you can't move properly and you have that spasticity and you have no strength, and you're coupling this with not being able to go to the toilet properly after the opioids, and you've got your, you know, you've got your worry about your finances, and you've got all that going on, and you know, your job or your health and the repercussions and the worry and the anxiousness and the stress, and then how it changes your outlook. One thing I will say, let's end it with this. And I haven't planned anything that I'm going to say today. It's just coming out, but I think this is going to be a perfect ending. Since the hospital stay, I've had the St. Francis prayer as a screensaver on my phone. And since the hospital stay, my relationship with my family's never been better. My relationship with my daughter's mother has never been better in a long time. And with my daughter, I've never had as much time one-on-one with her, and felt the gratitude I do for that time as well. And that's because I don't think any of those people really changed. It's I changed. And this prayer really talks about, instead of like the crux of it, you'll see the prayer. I'll put a link to it probably in the description. The crux of it is like, instead of asking for love, give love. Instead of asking for understanding, Try to understand. Instead of asking for forgiveness, practice forgiving. You know, that other famous poem, that other famous song, hymn I used to sing in the Church of England, you know, love is something if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. And I think me being the change I wish to see, me being the change I wish to see, is enabled that change to come into to reflect to me, to come into my life. Things that I wanted, you know, where the pride gets in the way, where like, no, I'm going to be nice to you if you're nice to me. Well, if you can understand me, I'll understand you. Hey, if you take one step forward, I'll take one step forward. But instead of having that attitude and pushing pride to one side and my ego to one side, and just saying, you know what, I'm going to be the change I wish to see. I'm going to have the courage of my convictions. Man, what a gift that's been. So, you know, the glass is half full. Obviously, it's been a heck of a journey. It's been really brutal at times and tough, and there's been a few tears shed, sad ones, happy ones, for these milestones. And just what a journey life is. And so, thanks for being a part of my journey, everybody who's listening and in my life. And yeah, hope you got something out of this today. Hope you enjoyed our little chat. We went over 45 minutes, which was my target. I'm going to be doing these longer form videos. Thank you for that suggestion, Challenge Jackson, and also to Sam Sulek for his example. So I'm going to continue this journey in the wonderful 405, the heavy traffic of the 405. Thank you for allowing my little video not to shake too much, and we haven't got into an accident or anything. And yeah, I'm going to keep on keeping on. So with that, wow, I haven't said this in a while. With that, va con Deus.